Welcome to another episode of the Grateful Gem podcast. I'm the host, Jasmine Shannelle, and today's topic is What About Me? Stick around because gems are definitely about to get dropped, so please get ready. Before I get into this episode, I need everyone listening to this podcast right now to follow the podcast on IG at The Grateful Gem Pod, and also follow me at Jasmine Shannelle. I'll spell everything out and put it in the episode notes. Okay, let's get started. Welcome back, Gems. I'm so excited to be here on another episode. We are 14 episodes in, you guys, and I am really trying my best to be diligent and commit myself to this process because I am so committed to the calling that God has over my life. So I want to just first of all say thank you for everyone listening and tuning in each and every week to each episode. Of course, let me know what you're thinking about these episodes. Make sure you like, share, and rate on iTunes if you have not done so already, because I would love to just get feedback and be aware of what's going on. If there's a topic that you most importantly want to hear about, let me know. And if you want to get questions answered. I cannot talk today. If you want to get questions answered, just DM me. If you know me personally, you can text me. If it's okay, I'll put it in the podcast and we'll go from there. But anyways, let's get into today's episode. So today's episode is What About Me? So the reason that I chose this topic is because that's just where I am in my life right now. I'm not going to say that's where I am. That's where I was up until like maybe 24 hours ago. So I had the mindset of what about me? And I've actually been feeling that for the last 6 or 7 months. Really, I've been feeling that for the last year, to be completely honest with you guys. I feel like, I've been doing all that I can do, been trying my best to listen for God and His commitment to my life and what it is that He has me do outside of what it is that I want to do. As I stated in the beginning on the first episode of the preview of this podcast, that I decided to take a leap of faith and commit myself fully to God and what He had called for my life. So it has definitely been a very trying and hard process. I don't want people to think that just because you say yes to God that it is a easy process, because it just gets more and more complicated from there. But if you're able to discern God's voice from other people's voice and from other things that are inquiring in your mind, if you're able to discern that God is within what you're trying to do, you're definitely ahead of the game. I also just want to be real and just say that it is a process. Sometimes you're going to pray about things and God's not going to answer you. One, because He's already answered you and He's waiting on you to use the resources and give you and take advantage of the answers that He's given you in the past. Or He's just in a point where He wants you to wait and be patient. And that's why you have to be careful what you pray for and what you ask for, because God is not a God that shall lie to you. He will command everything that you're asking, and He will test you on everything that you're trying to gain, and you have to be mindful. So if you're praying about patience and being humble, God is going to definitely send trials and tribulations your way to humble you and to make you patient. So please keep that in mind. When you're praying, make sure that you're 100% 10 toes down, flat-footed on what it is that you're praying for, because God will not definitely just go head first and just send you these answers. It takes time. I am always in a season where I'm like, God, I thought I heard you say this, but I don't know. And right now I'm just trying to migrate through a different transition. As this year ends, I want to be able to change my mindset, and I want to be able to have a different outlook, and I want to grow. As I stated in my last podcast episode, if you haven't listened to it, pause this one and go back. It's the last one, episode 13. That episode was really a wake-up call for me, and I'm so glad that it happened the way it did, and I'm just so thankful for what God is doing in my life. And I just want to talk about, what happens when you don't know what to do. When you're in that what about me phase. Because like I said, I've been there. And up until yesterday, I had to change my mindset. I'm actually doing a mindset challenge with one of my good friends, Brianna V, on Instagram. She has a company called Think Royalty. And she's doing a mindset challenge. And I think that's so awesome because we're both in similar situations where we're trying to just get our mindset and use our mindset to get us through what we're going through in life, not only just in entrepreneurship but in the corporate America, because we're both working and trying to balance time and space between what we're doing. So I think that movement is so great. You can join that movement as well. It's daily affirmations. Sorry, I got cut off on the last one. But it's daily affirmations. Just letting yourself know that you're worthy. I did one today for I am enough, because that's really where I'm trying to get to. Just remembering that God supplies me with everything that I need in order to be everything that He's called me to. So I am enough. I don't need validation from other people. I don't need validation from the things or materials in this world, because God has equipped me with the things that I need to progress. So I think that's a great thing that she's doing. If you want to join the mindset, you definitely can. Her thing is at Think Royalty or at Brianna V on Instagram. So again, back to the about me topic. So I was listening to a sermon last night on in the Crazy Faith Walk with Mike Todd at Transformation Nation. I cannot talk today, y'all, so please just tune out those parts where I mess up. So we're gonna keep it moving. So yeah, I was listening to an episode and the guy was talking about, we all just getting a point where it's just like, Susie got something done and it took her a month or a week, and it could be the very same thing that you're trying to do, and you've put in more work, you've put in more time, and you've put in more sacrifice than Susie, but it seemed like God answered her prayer before He answered yours. And you make all these sacrifices and you look at other people's and you compare your walk to their walk, and you literally ask yourself, what am I doing what is it that I'm not doing that this person is doing? And I can honestly testify and say that this is something that I battle with a lot, because I feel like I have done a lot in my years of living, and I feel like the more I've tried to get ahead, the more life has just taken its turn and bounced me back and said no. I feel like not just in my life but in relationships, I feel like there has been a constant circle and time wasted and things not being able to get completed, or me starting something and not being able to finish, or me not being able to fully walk by faith because things are just happening. And it gets to a point where you have to ask yourself, what about me? What is it that I'm not doing? Like, am I not praying hard enough? Am I not trusting hard enough? Like, is God not hearing me? What is it that I'm not doing? And I can honestly say, when it came to me finding a job, when I moved back from Atlanta, my mindset was pure. My mindset and my intentions were great. I came back to do a lot of different things, and I was just in a phase where I really didn't understand what was going on. I honestly didn't know why I even decided to come back. Being honest, I was confused when I knew good and well why I came back, and I was just questioning, God, what did I do? Did I make the wrong decision? Should I have stayed where I was? What am I doing that you didn't call me to? Because I don't get it. This person is doing this and they're getting farther ahead than me, and I'm trying hard. I'm dedicating hours to this, and they're taking what looks like seconds to do these things, and their prayers and things are getting done for them, and for me it's just a hard walk. And why is it okay for them to live this kind of life, but when I try to do it, I get so convicted and I just have to do the right thing all the time? Like, why can't I be normal? Why can't I be in a group that looks the same when you've called me to be set apart? Is basically the mindset that I had. And to be honest with you, it's really having a mindset change, because you can't always understand what God is doing in your life. And, we tell people all the time that your walk is different from mine, in life. And that's the same thing when it comes to religion, and relationship. Your relationship with God is not my relationship with God. And even though I've always had a relationship with God, it's different because we're learning. We're at two different stages in our life. You know, at the end of the day, I feel like, God is equipping me with a lot because I'm a strong person and he's building me this year. I actually posted a post on Instagram the other day that said 2017 broke me, 2018 broke me, 2019 made me stronger, and 2020 I'm coming back. And that is literally the story of my life. That's how I feel. I feel like, really since 2012 when my dad passed away, I lost 2 or 3 years right into, from 2012 to 2014. I really was lost. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to go about doing things because I was really devastated, losing my father, and then a lot of things happened in my personal life, and things were just happening unexpectedly, and I feel like from there, it just kept going downhill. And honestly, even before then, my whole high school year was a tragic, my middle school year was a tragic, and I feel like I've been going through things all the time, and it's like I'm in 2019, and like I stated in a couple of episodes back, I'm finally getting to where I feel like I'm growing. I'm getting to where I'm learning what God had intended for me a long time ago, but it's because I changed my mindset and because I was dedicated to not what other people walk look like, but what my walk could look like, what God is calling me to do. And you can't really focus on what somebody else is doing, because in the midst of focusing on what somebody else is doing, you miss what God is calling you to do. You have to be able to focus on where it is that you are. Thank God for the blessings that he's given other people, even when it looks like it's all over, even when it looks like he's not answering you. You have to still be diligent and be happy for other people's blessing and their success. Yeah, they may not have prayed harder. They may not have tithed all year. Yeah, they may have, don't need what they got. But that's also a test in your walk to see, where your heart is, because God wants your heart. And if your heart isn't pure, you're not ready to receive the things that God has for you. So you have to be genuinely happy for people. You can't continue to walk around with an envious heart, because that's not something that God will equip you with. And it's just hard, to stay focused when there's so many things that God is calling you to and you want to get it all done, but you're doing this. I feel like sometimes in my life, I'm running around like a chicken with no head. And then I have Susie on the side of me just being mellow, barely getting this stuff done, getting deadlines completed to the very last minute. Here I am planning ahead, trying to do this, trying to do that. And then I think it's solid, and then something happens and I'm like, wow. And I look over at Susie, and Susie has positioned herself within the last minute to get these things done, and it comes through for her. Imagine how frustrating that is. I know a lot of people can relate to this because we're all human. We all go through it. There's been seasons in my life where I've continuously said, God, you're blessing this person, but what about me? I'm praying to you every day. I'm talking with you every day. I'm fasting all the time. Everybody know I'm the fasting queen. I'm fasting all the time. I'm praying with you. I'm listening to your word. I'm worshiping your name. I'm doing my tithes. I decided this year to study diligent in my tithes, and I can honestly say I have missed like 1 or 2 payments this year, but that's better than last year, because I typically would look at my account and say, listen, I need this money. I just cannot. And I honestly, even though I've been tied, I think I missed like 1 or 2. I want to say it was 1, but we're going to say 2 because I'm not perfect. So let's just be real. We're going to just say 2, give or take. What difference does it make? 1, if not all of them. So, but for me, that's good because I've tied all year. And to be honest with you, I'm still in a bind. I'm not going to say I'm in a bind, but I'm just not getting caught up. I feel like, I've always had to play catch up when it comes to my funds, because I'm constantly bouncing around, moving and changing jobs and stuff like that, because I'm looking for something more, because I know that God has called me to higher, and I don't want to settle for less than I deserve, because I know that I'm worth more. And that also comes with part in your walk where you have to realize what you're worth. Don't let people define what you are worth. You have to know self-worth. And then when you walk around knowing what you're worth, you'll do different. You'll be around different people. You'll hang around different atmospheres. You'll talk about different things. The things that you do will attract who you are as a person. And yeah, there's going to be people that attract you that's not of the same kind, but you have to have discernment, because naturally the people that aren't for you will currently not be with you in the end. So you have to just be discreet and know that your time is precious, and don't waste time on relationships. Don't waste time on jobs. Don't waste time on opportunities if they're not what God has called for you. Just be mindful that in this walk, it's not gonna get easier and easier and easier, because it's the more you think that it's a smooth breeze, the more God is gonna say, okay, you got this, let me test your faith this way. You're thinking that God's gonna do it this way, and He's gonna do it something totally amazing, but it's maybe a longer process. I'm telling you, this walk is definitely something that you have to be full thrown into. You have to be fully committed to God, and fully committed to the walk, and not even committed to God, but fully committed to yourself to want to do what God has for you, because typically what we have for ourselves is far more less valuable than what God has for us. I know it's hard to understand that right now because of whatever situation you may be going through, but I tell you, the outcome is so awesome. As you guys know, I recently did a job transfer. I thought that my last job was going to be my last job before I fully go into entrepreneurship, but it's not. I'm at another company, and I can honestly say, I've been praying for financial increase, and I've been praying for that for a long time. And I can tell you honestly that now I know I've made more money within the last, since October to now, I've made more money. A lot, and I've given my tithes a lot, and I'm still at a point where I'm just like, God, what's going on? Like, I'm making more money, but I'm putting more money out. I'm still playing catch up, and I'm finally caught up with my bills, so I'm thankful for that. And I know that, some more financial increase is coming. So I just look at it as, God is shaping me for more, so that when I get blessed in my business, when God calls me to something higher, where I'm making a great value of money, I know how to be a good stewarder. So you have to be able to turn problems into opportunities. And I think I said this last episode as well, but you have to be able to see clearly what's going on, and be mindful that God will not bring you through this just void. He will definitely fill your empty spaces, and He will lead you and tell you what you need to do. Like I stated in the beginning in my episodes, when I did my 7-day fast, my 5-day fast, God was very He wasn't discreet. He was very, very descriptive about what I needed to do, and I had to make a decision on whether that was what I wanted to do or not. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you what I did walk by walk and verbatim by verbatim, because I don't want you to walk in a walk that you think is for you, because He did it for me that way. And that's another thing that kind of annoys me with people sometimes as well, because they'll tell you their walk with God from A to Z, and then when it comes to trying to get your blessing in that same area, they want you to do it the same way. And I'm here to tell you that I'm not going to do that. You're not going to because what typically happens is that it's like, oh, well, I did what you told me to do, and God's not blessing me. And that's because God's not going to bless you the same way He blesses me. He may do it for you faster than He did it for me. He's maybe wanting you to just repent for the things that you've done. He may just be calling you closer to Him, or just trying to figure out where your heart is. There's nothing greater than the love that God has for us. So I definitely want to continue to encourage you with my stories and with my testimonies, because there's a lot that I've gone through, not just financially, but in life period. And there's a lot of things that God has brought me through. Honestly, He's brought me through all of them. Even when I felt like it was a bad situation, I learned now, years later, and I'm still finding out things that were really blessings in disguise. So I don't want to sit here and give you verbatim of what happened and how God did it. Of course, I want to share my story, because I want you to be aware that God is real and that He loves each and every one of us. But I don't want you to get so consumed in what I'm telling you that you try to live your life and do your due diligence the same way that I did it, expecting God to show up the same way He showed up for me. And I think that's where a lot of people get turned down when it comes to Christianity, and even just believing in God, period. They listen to the testimonies of other people, and they think, she tithed all year, and God blessed her with this and that and this and that and this and that, so let me tithe all year. And then you tithe all year and nothing happens. Or, God put on my heart for me to pay for somebody's food, and I did that, and because I was obedient, God gave me this, or this opened up for me, something that I've been looking for, and then you go and do the same thing, and then nothing happens. Or you get like $5 back from cash back or something. People will really take their walk and turn it into somebody else's, and you have to remember to stay in your own lane. Literally take that that term and use them. Remember to remain in your lane. Stay focused on what God has you to do, because the way that he's blessing me is not the way that he's going to bless you. My blessings could be shortcoming because I'm doing shortcomings. Why would I block you from what God has for you if he's telling you to do something so simple and it's going to bless you beyond what I'm being blessed? And I feel like we're called to be a blessing when God blesses us. So that's why I want to definitely share my testimony and my story to what God has done for me, so that you know God can do it for you as well. You know, there's a lot of things that God will do for you, and you just have to be able to trust and have faith, and most importantly, build that relationship with him. But you, even when you're running from God, God will still bless you, let me tell you. So it's not even about praying the right prayer or saying the right things. It's about doing what God wants you to do and giving him your whole heart. So I definitely can't feel the what about me terms, you know, but I want you to change that and turn it into what can I do? Instead of saying what about me, ask yourself and ask God, what can I do in order to hear more from you? If it's instruction that you're looking for, pray about it. If it's things that you're trying to get out of, ask for the strength to get through those things. People take lightly what it is that God is able to do for you, and don't be afraid to ask for assistance from the right people. You need godly counsel in your life. Don't be afraid to seek out what God has for you, because there are resources. You don't have to do this walk alone. There's people that will walk with you. I'll walk with you. If you need help, if you need prayer, I'm there. I'm available. My Instagram and things will be in the show notes. If you know me personally, I'm there. So I just want to let you know that it doesn't always have to be what about me. Start asking, what can I do? And that's typically something that God will reveal to you. Once your mindset changes, first you need to change your heart, then change your mindset, and then just be obedient and listen to what God is telling you to do. So I hopefully think that this podcast will inspire somebody to change their mindset. Start asking God what it is I can do, and God will definitely start speaking to you. Get around some godly people, some godly counsel, and, you know, just keep it real with yourself, most importantly, because God is definitely going to keep it real with you. So I do want to thank you guys for tuning in again to this episode, and I pray that you continue to walk in this journey, being the gem that you are. Keep shining bright, because God is definitely looking out for you. If you have any questions or need any advice or anything like that, you can definitely hit me up. I will be available to talk with you and just answer questions or whatever you have. So until next time, keep shining as the gems you are. Bye.